Listen, I am a sucker for grand entrances. You ever watch any anime or any movie where like the character pops up at the last moment, like like looking all tough and popping up looking fresh, like One Piece when Luffy pulls up on the admirals, or in Black Clover when Yami's finally able to fight against the guy in the underwater temple, Shanks pulling up at Marineford, Naruto popping up after Pain showed up. I'm sure there's plenty in all forms of media, some cool badass grand entrances, but I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine you get to choose your grand entrance, because when I think about Christmas and I think about the birth of Jesus, that's exactly what God did. God decided to come to earth and be with humans, and he got to do whatever he wanted. He's God. He literally is in complete control of everything that happens in this world. And God decided that he would show up in a way that revealed one of the most important yet underrated traits of his character. And so before I really get into all of that, I really want to ask you, like, how would you show up? Because the way you would show up shows a lot about your character. And I'm gonna be completely honest, right? Like, if I was Jesus and I was gonna show up and like show the world, like, boom, I'm here, baby, like, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I'd probably show up at like the Macy's like Christmas Day parade, like something that's like nationally televised, and I'm not even gonna lie, I'm gonna pop up like this. I guess technically the Macy's Christmas Day Parade wouldn't exist yet. That doesn't matter. Anyway, thank God my goofy ass ain't Jesus, right? Because the truth is, unlike me, Jesus is the only person worthy of such a grand entrance. He's the Son of God. He is God himself, and he's completely in control of how he arrived, yet he chose to show up humbly. He chose to show up the same way we did, delivered from the womb of a woman, yet even in a worse way than us. Most of us, we were born in a hospital. I know some people got born into the safety of their own homes. Jesus was born in a manger, and if you don't know what a manger is, it's a tool used for feeding barn animals. Yeah, some of us were born in hospitals, some of us were born at home. Jesus was born in a barn, in a manger. Imagine the wise men pulling up and seeing this kid born in a manger and be like, yo, wait, this guy's supposed to be the Son of God? And so while we honestly showed up in even better ways than Jesus, who was worthy of the grandest of entrances because he came to die for us, to live for us. He was born as the Son of God, the most holy, if God is the king of this world. He literally showed up as the son of the king of the world. And he didn't show up in the palace of some kingdom. He didn't show up where the world could see. He didn't show up on national television. He didn't show up doing any of that. He showed up humbly. He was cared for by shepherds and taken in by shepherds and into a barn because there was no hotel. The hotels decided they didn't have enough room for the Savior of the world. And so the Savior of the world said, let it be so. Let me show up in the most humble way imaginable. Showing up born in a manger. That's disgusting. It's dirty. It's gross. Yet Jesus, just like that, shows up into our lives, into our broken, dirty, gross world. This is a world not worthy of God, yet he shows up and he comes near to us, and he brings the light of the world. He shines this light in this darkness. He brings the clean into the unclean spaces. The reason I tell you all this is because the circumstances of Jesus' birth were far less than ideal, and that reveals a lot about who he is. I said earlier, one of the most underrated character traits that we don't talk about Jesus was his humility. That Jesus was a humble king. And that's what you need. A lot of times we see kings that are corrupt. They have too much power. People in power today have too much power and they're corrupt. But Jesus has all the power, yet he's humble. He holds it humbly. He doesn't show up in a grand entrance with that freaking Egyptian song that I just played a second ago. No, Jesus shows up carefully, humbly, and honestly, because he is what we really need. And a humble king like him is better than any king this world has ever seen. And as someone like Jesus, who was born to parents in a manger in a time full of anxiety and fear, King Herod was killing babies left and right because he didn't want Jesus to be born. They're terrified that their baby boy would die. They're in fear, they're anxious, they're worried. And it's such a dark, fearful time, Jesus showed up with hope, with peace, with joy, and with love. And he brought the light into a dark, dark place. As I sit here and talk about this character trait of humility, that Jesus showed up in a humble way, I want us to remember that as we read the Bible and we pay attention to who Jesus is, we have to pay attention to his character, these character traits. And if Jesus showed up as a humble king and as a humble God, that must mean he's inviting us to do the same. Knowing his character helps us understand him and understand who he wants us to be, how he wants us to act and to behave, and the mindset he wants us to have. So Jesus showed up in a manger, born from this long list of kings, and not every person that was in his lineage was perfect. They were just talking about it at church the other day. Some of the people in his lineage in Matthew chapter 1 were corrupt people that eventually turned back to the Lord. And that's the beauty of it all, is that it's not that Jesus is only using the holiest. It's not that Jesus is using the bestest. Jesus isn't showing up born in palaces and all these things. No, Jesus shows up in a messy barn, born in a messy manger, and he shows up on this messy earth to enter your messy life. And he doesn't come in there to say, yo, this is messy, this reeks. But he gets in there, he's like, let's get started. It's a mess. Let's clean it up. And that's what Jesus does. Just by being there, he begins to clean it up. And so Jesus showed up in our mess in the messiest way imaginable. And he brought hope, peace, joy, and love through it all. And he didn't come to condemn the world, but he came to love it and to save the world. And that's why through all of that, Jesus has the absolute right to be condemning and to be giving us shame and calling us out and mocking us. And yet Jesus showed humility. He showed up, he showed humility and grace and kindness. And that's why Jesus' humility is one of his most underrated traits.